These are your human rights. There are 30 of them. They belong to you. You don't have to buy them, or apply for them, or ask permission to have them. They're just yours. No matter who you are, where you're from, how old you are, or anything else. It's just that simple. Now, some people may try to ignore your rights, or violate them, or pretend they don't exist. But they can't change the fact that they're yours. Human right number 30. No one can take away your human rights. What are human rights? Find out at youthforhumanrights.org.
Evening, and welcome to Meet the Candidates. I'm your host this evening, Paul Herring, and I'm excited about this school board election. I'm going to say excited. I'm just a little apprehensive. Those of you who know me know that I have not been a big fan of this Flint School Board. I've seen some of the decisions that they've made, and I've had some serious issues with many of them. Although they are trying, I'm looking at this election as an opportunity to get some new blood in there and perhaps shake things up a little bit. As you may or may not know, there are 3 candidates. No, there are 5 candidates running for 3 seats. So only 2 are going to be upset. We've spoken with Mrs. Petrie, Mr. Tutt, and this evening I'm going to bring you Mrs. Ella Greene-Moton. She's one of the newer candidates or newer people to this, we were going to call it field of politics, maybe? I don't know.
We'll call it that.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, as you said, my name is Ella Greene-Moton, and I am a longtime member of the Flint community.
Okay.
I moved to Flint in late 60s and have been here ever since, over 40 years. I've been in the city of Flint, came to Flint from Chicago and to Chicago from my home, Clarksville, Mississippi.
Okay.
So I'm a country girl. Have been a part of the Flint community and have loved being part of the Flint community, wearing several different, showing several different bills of my tall hat. I choose not to say that I wear many hats, that gets complicated. But most of which have dealt with working with children, okay, which is what, actually brought me to the decision to run for a seat on the school board. That and the fact that I love board work. I love the discussions. I love digging down, getting down to where the rubber meets the road. I love having to make tough decisions, but I love being able to get to the bottom of issues.
Let's talk briefly about your educational background.
Okay.
Kind of see where you're coming from so you might be able to figure out where you're going.
Okay. Well, and actually, as far as my education, I'm not a degreed person.
Okay.
But because of the folk I've had benefit of working with and just being around, I am an educated person. I work now for the Center of Public Health and Community Genomics at the School of Public Health, the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor.
That's a mouthful.
It is, and I almost didn't get it out. But I serve as a community education coordinator, and actually was given that job or invited to consider that job because of the work that I've done in the community and the work that I do with the community. So it's my responsibility to provide a certain amount of awareness to the community at large on what's happening, with the different projects that we coordinate and how they can be involved, what their responsibility is, and how they can hold us accountable.
Okay. Well, one more time.
Okay.
Maybe you said it and I missed it, but
okay.
Why run for the school board now? I mean, it's a $30 a meeting kind of job. You're not going to get rich doing it,
right.
And there's always drama. It seems like no matter what decisions you make, there's
right.
going to be a pool of people that are not going to be happy about it.
Right.
Why?
For me, it has to do with my commitment, first of all, to the city of Flint,
okay.
to the residents of Flint, and bottom line, to the kids. the young folk in Flint. I have 3 adult children, and 2 of them graduated from the Flint Community Schools.
Okay.
I now have 2 grandchildren in the Flint Community Schools. But I decided to be part of this, or to try to be part of this process, because the reality is the process is not going to go away. Somebody needs to be part of the process. Somebody has to be involved. Somebody has to care. And I gave it some thought and said, with my love for meetings, and I go to a lot of meetings, love meetings, my love for the exchange of ideas and just sort of just creating new thoughts and coming to an agreement, coming from different perspectives, coming to an agreement. I love that kind of thing. So that, coupled with my realization that everybody has to do his or her part, and coming to the realization that I would be rotating off of some of the boards that I serve on a national level. I wanted to do something closer to home, because bottom line, I'm not leaving Flint. I don't plan to.
Right.
And I wanted to use some of the skills that I've gained, some of the experience that I've gained in working with other boards, both on the local level, state, national, and with some international work. But I wanted to bring some of that home and be able to try to make a difference in my community. Flint's my community.
Now, there are 9 people seated.
Right.
Only 3 are going away.
Right.
So now, even if you knew 3 are a group or a force to be reckoned with, you don't have the votes. How are you going to, I guess, play nice with the board members that are already in existence?
I think bottom line, you have to realize, first of all, that those board members are in existence, and that there's a culture on that board. There's a process. I think as a new member, I would have to come in trying to learn that culture, learning that process, coming in with some ideas, but always being willing to hear other ideas and know that my ideas are not always going to rise to the top, but being strong enough to make my case, for whatever thoughts I would have about a given situation, and understanding that there will be many times when I'm going to have to be a team player. It might not be a decision that I want to make, and I know that the board has had to make many decisions that, as you said earlier, that many of our community folk just don't agree with. Sometimes it's because they might not understand why the decision was made, but the reality is tough decisions will have to be made. They've been made in the past and probably will have to continue until things sort of level off and things become a little bit easier for decision making.
I hear many of the candidates, and I can't say that you have been one that said this yet, but that there has to be a way to cut the budget without affecting the kids. And I don't see how that's possible, because if you don't buy, you buy 10 less pencils,
right,
that's 10 less pencils the kids have. If you buy 10 less paper clips, that's 10 less paper clips. If you turn the heat down, you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's really difficult for me to understand where they're coming from when they say that. When the reality is whatever you do is going to affect the kids, and you need to do the least, whatever is going to affect them the least.
Right.
When you think about the situation here in Flint, we've closed schools. We have attendance issues, we have dropout problems. Given just those 3 things, what would you want to tackle first?
Of those 3?
Of those 3.
Attendance, dropout, and the closing of schools.
School closings, yeah.
Probably, and I would probably weigh the attendance and the dropout problems pretty much on the same level, and want to address those, because I think maybe there would be some solutions to those 2 issues. Maybe they would come quicker than the school closing situation, because bottom line, the school closing, I don't think there's anything that we could do about that, given the situation that we're in now, because we're having to be reactive to a situation. So while I would not want to see schools close, when they did close schools, I could definitely understand, because we're down so many, thousands of people in the city of Flint, and the funding has declined. So I would say the attendance issue and the school dropout issue, to really look at both of those to see where it's happening, if there's some indicators that would tell me that maybe this is why the kids are not coming to school, and really address it from that angle to try and correct whatever there might be that's causing those situations to exist.
Okay, well, listen, we're going to take a quick break for some public service announcements. And when we come back,
Okay.
I'm going to put the burden on you.
Hey.
Because, I thought you would have said the schools. Closing the schools seems like the most economically sensible way to save money. These schools have been around since the 50s and the 40s, and, they've got to be an ungodly drain. Okay, so when we come back, I'm going to give you a chance to think about it.
Okay.
You guys are watching Meet the Candidates. I'm your host, Paul Herring, and I'm going to take this opportunity. No, better yet, I'm going to show you a PSA. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Are you interested in helping your community?